I am the night. I am.
What's going on, all my truck drivers and soon-to-be truck drivers out there? It is the Be More Dark Knight coming at you. So today I'm going to talk to you about my experience, continuing my experience with the Swift Driving Academy out of Richmond, Virginia. I'm going to talk about my processes in leaving home that first week, and also things that you should take with you. And I kind of covered it in another video, but things you should take with you and things to expect once you arrive. All right, so when I got ready to go down to the academy, there's a couple things that my recruiter asked me. One, she asked me, was I going down? Was I going to drive? Was I going to take the Greyhound bus? Now, if you feel, I recommend if you're close enough and you can drive down there, or drive. Just go ahead and drive, because one, they're going to pay you back your gas up to the price of a Greyhound bus ticket. If you take the Greyhound, you don't happen to have your own vehicle, that's fine. You can take it. They'll pay for it. The only thing is, when you get to the school, you're gonna either be taking Ubers, Lyfts, or whatever rideshare is out there, taxis or whatever, to places that you need to go to. Like, so if you need to go to the food market or something like that, you forgot something at home, you got to go to Walmart to get your stuff, or Target, then you're going to be spending more money down there. So I urge you to drive, but that is completely up to you. So that was the one thing that she asked me. The second thing for my military out there, if you are a soldier, talk to your recruiter, because there is a military scholarship program out there that is available through the Swift Driving Academy, and there's also a military apprenticeship program. So if you're military, whether you're retired, you're a spouse of a military veteran, or you are a child of a military veteran, talk to your recruiter and they will get you the appropriate information. I'm not going to speak on it so much because things may have changed even from last week of me being there. So get with your recruiter is the number one thing that I'm going to tell you. If you are military, doesn't matter, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Coast Guard, doesn't matter, Reserve, National Guard, doesn't matter. Get with your recruiter and they will walk you through the process of what you need to do. I will tell you, though, that for the military scholarship, the military apprenticeship program, which is a 12-month program, I would start now going into your ebenefits.gov and applying for either your Montgomery GI Bill, I think that's Chapter 30, or your post 9/11 GI Bill benefits, which I believe is Chapter 33. You're going to have to relinquish one or the other. If you have those benefits, you're going to have to relinquish one or the other in order to use that in the program. Now, for me, when I went down, it was, hey, school's taken care of, don't have to worry about it. And then I would go on a 12-month program. And for my military who understands these terms, that once I get into the apprenticeship program, do my 12 months, I would be paid an additional stipend, BAH, depending on my zip code, my home record zip code, up to 12 months on top of my mileage pay or percentage pay, whichever I decide to go with. But that's the program. But again, it might be a little different for you as opposed to what I signed up for. So again, get with your recruiter and they will walk you through the process. So now I drove from Pennsylvania all the way down to Richmond, Virginia. This is about a 4.5-hour drive. Not bad at all. If you're going to drive, I would say leave early enough to beat the Richmond traffic. It seems like every time I've been riding up and down that road for almost all my life, and all my youth life, should I say. And every time I went through there, it was always traffic. So give yourself plenty of time to get down there. Class then used to start on Mondays. Now the classes start on Wednesdays. And it's 6 o'clock in the morning, so there's going to be some early days when you wake up. And it's not too late, I believe. So when I went, again, classes started at 6 in the morning, and we were done by 4 o'clock. I believe now classes start relatively at the same time, but now they're getting off at about 5 o'clock. And that gives them a little bit more drive time, which is a good thing. Another hour of training, so that's a good thing. But you'll see once you get down there. So the first day of class. So when you get in, you get to the schoolhouse. You're going to go into a trailer type building. It looks like it was a trailer converted into a classroom. It's really nice. It's pretty good, you know. And you get in there, and your first day is typically your first day is be prepared to do that urinalysis and be prepared to do a hair follicle test. Those are the first two things you're going to do outside of the instructor is going to, you know, talk to you about what the expectations are for that week. You know what your schedule is going to be like for that week, and any homework assignments that they're going to give you, and any tests that are going to come up. So you're going to do some admin paperwork. You're going to sign a whole bunch of paperwork. You're going to do your hair follicle and urinalysis test. I'd say within that first or second day. They're also going to determine whether your physicals are still good. So Miss Deborah, she's really cool. She's going to pull up all your paperwork. So when you get to school, make sure that you have that CDL permit. Make sure that you have your DOT physical to include, I think it's 4 or 5 pages of the long forms that they did for you. So make sure that you take all that stuff with you when you go to the school, and your regular driver's license. And here's the other thing that you should take with you. I would recommend taking a copy of a birth certificate with the raised seal, Social Security card, and if you've moved, if you've changed address anytime before if your address on your driver's license is different from what's on the permit, then you need to have a change of address card. A lot of states issue change of address cards. So make sure you take that with you as well, because you get to the DMV, you do your testing, and they realize one is different from the other. You might run into some admin problems, and that's the last thing you want to run into when you're all complete and done. So make sure that you have that change of address card, or you go back to your DMV and you get, if they allow you to do it, you get a brand new license that reflects your current address. If you've gotten married, I would say take a copy of your marriage certificate, just to show that, hey, there's a change in name, because maybe in that time of you getting ready to go to school and you updating your name, you haven't had a chance to do it yet. So make sure you take a copy of marriage certificate. I would recommend that it either the original, or you have one that has you've gone through somebody that can certify it for you, and you can take it down with you. So those are things I would recommend. Again, as far as paperwork is concerned to take, I would, as far as, items to take, I wouldn't take a lot of food with you. Obviously, if you're riding on a bus or you're driving, I would take some kind of snacks to kind of keep you going. But once you get there, there's plenty of places around where you can go to. There's CVS, there's Target, there's Walmart, there's a Kroger's food market not too far away from where you're living at. There's a dollar store, or Dollar General, which is right down the street from you. So I would take enough clothes, hygiene items, cash or credit card to last you at least a month, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a month and a half, depending on how the DMV is scheduled. I would also make sure that, again, you have at least 2 to 3 months worth of all your bills covered. So, you don't have to worry about that being taken care of. Now, when you go to the school, once your recruiter enrolls you into the school, they're going to send your name down to the staff at the driving academy. And what the staff at the driving academy is going to do, they're going to put you in the hotel room. It's going to be, unless they changed it, it's going to be the Microtel Hotel right off of Otterburn Road. It's like 6000 Otterburn Road, right there in Sandston, Sandton, Virginia. I think the zip code is like 23231, something like that. But if you look up the Microtel Inn and Suites off of 6000 Otterburn Road, that is the one you'll go to. It's an okay hotel. It's if you're looking at a resort type hotel, hey, this is a business. They're not going to put you up in a resort type hotel. It's a place to lay your head down, get some sleep, a place you can study. They do have breakfast there. I would say the breakfast for me was okay, but you might have a different opinion on it. So for me, the breakfast was okay. Expect government eggs. For those of y'all who understand what government eggs are, expect that. You have your cereal, your breads, your juices there, but definitely, and some sausage in the morning, but definitely expect the government eggs. It's there. Hotel staff is okay. So your rooms, at least when I was there, your rooms weren't cleaned every day. It was like every other day they would come in and clean your room. So I think they did it by floor. Like Mondays and Wednesdays they would do the first floor, Tuesdays and Fridays they would do, or Tuesdays and Thursdays they would do the second floor, and another days they would do the third floor. I would highly recommend taking Lysol and some type of spray and some type of other spray to spray down your room, spray down your bunks. There is some suspect smells around there, and I'll just leave it like that. But the staff is well aware of everything that's going on there. And just when you're down there, just like any other time, just be aware of your surroundings. So now that we kind of covered the hotel and kind of what to expect, there's plenty of parking in the front, by the way. There's a 7-Eleven Shell gas station right up the street from me, and there's a little Mexican restaurant just right outside around the corner off to the right, and you'll see it. So it's right there. The schoolhouse itself is maybe a mile, maybe 2 down the street from me, maybe 2.5 miles down the street from me. So it's not bad. You'll come out of the hotel, you'll turn right onto that road, you hit the light, turn left, and you'll go all the way down through the airport area until you hit Charles City Road. You'll turn right, you'll cross the railroad tracks, and on the left, you'll see the Swift Transportation Terminal. You'll see the building. Even at night, you'll see it. You turn left, and there's some parking up there in that little area. Or at between 5:30 and 5:45 in each morning, Monday through Friday, the staff will come and they'll pick you up and usually in white vans. So you have your choice whether you can drive to the school or you could take the vans. I always drove because that way, if I wanted to go to lunch, I didn't have to worry about waiting on anybody, or I didn't have to worry about the van and then getting the Uber and all this other crazy stuff. But if you are going to the hotel, they would take you back to the hotel as well. So it wasn't a big deal. All right, so class, like getting back to class, your first days were, like I said, urinalysis, hair follicle tests, collecting up paperwork, your physical. So again, make sure you got that driver's license, your permit, your change your address card, marriage certificate, and your medical cards, to include those 4 or 5 forms that you had to fill out. The doctor read over. Make sure you bring all that stuff with you. Make copies of everything, just in case it's lost. You'll still have copies of it. Make sure you keep very close tabs on your permit. It's, some people get a actual card that kind of looks like a driver's license. A lot of us get the little paper ones, and the paper ones are very easy to lose. I had a couple of classmates that lost theirs and had to, get their loved ones to go get them a new one and send it down. Or they had to go home and get it and bring it back. So make sure you keep close tabs on that. The rest of the week, as far as the classroom is concerned, is homework assignments. So they'll give you these. Instructor Mark, and I'll just put his name out there, but I won't say his last name. Instructor Mark. He very good instructor. I won't say former Marine, because once a Marine, always a Marine. Just like once a soldier, always a soldier. Very good dude. Really down to earth. He would give you your textbooks. He'll show you what chapters you need to do and what questions you need to do. He'll give you your Swift guide. He'll go over trip planning, excuse me, hours of service. He'll get you started on pre-trip inspection, you'll go over your homework assignments. You do some, I call them quizzes more so than tests. They weren't really that big. So you'll do some quizzes. Once you get through the academic week, which is, once you get through the academic week, then the next week you move on and you go out to the range. So, again, in my last video, I talked about the DLT physicals. So, I would really get the information. If you're going to the Richmond Academy, I would get Miss Deborah's information and call her and see if you can either, if the physical that you've already taken will be accepted, or do you need to go to a Concentra. Definitely once you get into the class, check in, and your recruiter sends you there's like a welcome packet. It's like a little spreadsheet of information on there. Miss Deborah's name and number and email address will be on there. Call her, email her, let her know when you're coming through, and she'll let you know about that physical. At least you'll be prepared when you get there. And if it's the case where your physical's not good, again, Swift is going to take care of it. They're going to pay for it. You're going to get down to Concentra, knock it out, and then you'll be good to go. And Miss Deborah is going to send all the necessary paperwork back to your appropriate DMV, your appropriate DMV, and she's going to make sure you're squared away. So I wouldn't worry too much. So that is your first week of school. What I will say about the pre-trip inspection, it was, I'll just put it to you like this. It was 14 pages front and back information. The script is already there. Okay, don't worry about looking at pre-trips from other schoolhouses, from other companies. Don't worry about looking at the pre-trip inspection from Swift Driving Academy in Arizona or Ohio or wherever another Swift Driving Academy is. Pay attention to the pre-trip inspection at your schoolhouse. Okay, know it. It took me maybe about I won't say 2 to 3 days as in studying. I'll just say as in 2 to 3 days broken up in a few hours actually, of actually sitting down and going through it and memorizing it. Learn the parts of the vehicle. There's a lot of parts to learn, but a lot of the parts are repetitive, so it kind of cuts down a little bit. A hint, if you're doing your pre-trip inspection, this is what I did. So when I was doing my pre-trip inspection, I started learning it. I started learning the words first, the script, and then I started doing it. Of course, you're going to do it every day when you go out to your ranges. You're going to do it every day. And then what I did, there were trucks parked in front of the hotel. So I didn't go up on the truck because those trucks and the loads in them were owned by somebody or being driven by somebody. So I would stand outside, stand a good distance away from the truck, and I would pre-trip that truck without, the hood being open and all that stuff, or actually getting inside of it. I would pre-trip the truck. To do the end cabin and the air brakes, I got in my own vehicle and simulated some of the parts, some of the in cabin stuff inside my own vehicle. Starter procedure, in cabin inspection, starter procedures, and then my air brake test. So I did all that in my vehicle, and then I started doing it without even sitting in front of a truck or inside of my own vehicle. I started doing it then. Once you can do it without the vehicle being in front of you, that's when you know it. Okay, so take the time. What's cool about the next upcoming classes is, at least from what I was told when I was there, is that you're gonna have plenty of time to pre-trip. I mean, like after my first week out on the range, I'm sorry, my first week of class, we had that weekend, and then we were tested on a pre-trip. Like I think I tested on a Wednesday, I think it was. So I hadn't even been at the academy. I just barely been at the academy my first time, a week and a half, and we did the pre-trip inspection test. Now the classes are, they're going to, you're going to go through your week of classroom. You're going to do all your back-end procedures. You're going to test out on those first, and then you're going to do your pre-trip. So you could very well be in school for, 2 to 3 weeks, and then before you do your pre-trip. So you have plenty of time to learn it. Unless they tell you something different from what this video is, you're going to have plenty of time to learn it, and you're going to be fine. But study. Take that time to learn it. All right. Follow the script. Don't deviate from the script. That's all I'm going to say. I wouldn't add anything. Definitely don't take anything away. Follow the script the way it is, and you'll be fine. Now, some instructors are going to tell you certain ways of doing it. I think this was my only issue with the academy, and I think it was more from me being a military instructor and seeing how training goes. I know they're different, but some of those guys were military. The only thing I think that could have been done better was a standard, and you'll see it. Some of the instructors, they're going to say, hey, they won't say it, but you'll get that gist of, hey, my way of doing backing is better than that person's way of doing backing, or you should do the pre-trip base like this. So there's really not necessarily a standard, but you will learn. You will learn everything. You're going to be fine. It's not a big deal in that. I just think there needs to be more of a standard, and I wrote that in my end of course critique. So what I'm saying on this video is nothing that I didn't say in my end of course critique. So with that being said, we've covered getting down to the academy. Whether you're driving or you're riding a bus, or if you're coming from far enough away. I don't think they're going to, because they have schools in other parts of the U.S., so I don't think they're going to fly too much. But driving or taking that Greyhound bus, if you have to go somewhere on an Uber and it's for the school will pay for the Uber and Lyft. But now if you're going to just go buy food and stuff like that, that's on your own. But if the school has to send you down to get a physical and you're not driving, they will call an Uber or Lyft for you. So that I wanted to be clear. If it's school related stuff, they will take care of your transportation, which I thought was really awesome. So we've covered how you're getting down to the school, what documents to ensure that you bring, and if there's any documents that I haven't mentioned or that you think you need to bring, talk to your recruiter. Call Miss Deborah once you get all your information packet from them. Pay attention to whatever email that you sign up through with your recruiter, because your recruiter and Miss Deborah, they're going to be sending you information even before and even throughout the time that you're in school. And you need to pay attention to your email, because it's going to send you a link and it's going to tell you, hey, you need to go to this website and we need you to fill out these documents. So pay attention to that stuff as well. We talked about, things that you should take with you. The only thing about the hotel that I will say, another thing about the hotel I will say is, on the 3rd floor, they say they have a laundry room. It's a laundry closet. Okay, it's a stack. So it's a washer and dryer in a single closet. That's it. I would recommend, there's a laundromat not down the street from the hotel. So if you come out of the hotel, you make a right, you go up to the light in front of the 7-Eleven Shell gas station, make a left. You're going to go up to that first light and you're going to make a left. And you're going to go just going to go straight down that road. and you'll pass the dollar store on your left, and just down the street on the blue sign you'll see a laundromat. In that laundromat, they take credit cards, quarters. I think you can pay for a certain amount of time to use the laundry facility, like if you're going to be there a week or a month or whatever. But there's a huge laundry facility there to wash your clothes, that kind of stuff. So, you'll be fine. So again, we've talked about how you're getting down there, what to bring, what to expect during that first week, and what kind of things Instructor Mark, who's going to be your first week instructor, is going to take care of, and what Miss Deborah, who's your HR specialist, is going to take care of. And you'll meet some of the other instructors that'll introduce you to them either when you get out to the range or as they come in to the class, to the admin building. So with that, I think I've said enough and I've held up your time for enough. I am the Baltimore Dark Knight. I will catch you guys later.